Hey YouTube, Casual Mechanic here, giving you another review. What you see in front of you right here is a Ruger 1022. This is the Collector Series. I'll tell you what, when I got this gun, I had high hopes for it, and it looked a whole lot better than it does right now. Basically, right out of the box, I was super impressed with the way this gun looks. Comes with a ghost ring sight on the rear end. Has this rail, which you can see I've added a scope to, and then the front sight post up here, and this stock configuration. Took it out shooting, and the first day I took it out shooting, the little Ruger plate, which I wish, I had a picture of, or fell out somewhere on BLM land, and I've lost it, and it no longer exists. So that was disappointing. Another thing that happened to me on the first day of shooting was this front sight post fell off, and that made me very unhappy. So I took it out shooting, and it just came loose within like the first 10 shots, and I didn't really notice it until it had completely fallen off the gun, and I heard it like fall into the ground onto the ground, and luckily I was able to find it and didn't lose it out in BLM land. And the way I fixed that, it being a 1022 and all, was just JB welding it back on. And it ends up being pretty darn accurate still with the iron sights. But at the same time, that was just very disappointing. As far as quality control went on this exact rifle, I've seen a bunch of reviews on this gun on other people's gun channels, and they give it all kinds of praise, say it's beautiful and things like that. Yes, it was a great looking gun, but it missed so many steps of quality control. It's unbelievable. And of course, you can call Ruger, and they're a great company, have great customer service, and I'm sure they'll send me out a new little emblem to glue into this stock. And if I wanted to, I could have sent the gun back to have the dovetail sight put on to the proper spec or whatever it is, but I didn't want to have to ship the gun off, so I just dealt with it myself. Another issue that I had was when I locked the bolt to the rear for the very first time, and on this gun, the way that gets done is by pushing this little guy right here. I couldn't get it to unlock. And, I sat there and finagled with this guy and pulled it back and was trying to get it out, and it took forever to finally get it done. And so I tried to do it again, and of course, it was still just a big pain to get it released. And so I found a modification for this so that you can, get it to release just by doing that instead of having to mess with this guy here. So I ended up doing that. But just the issues that I had. Another issue was feeding the magazine into the gun itself. You'd get it up there, and it was such a tight, pain in the butt fit. So what I ended up doing there was filing away like grooves into the plastic on the stock so that it had a better like feed lip for you to slide the magazine into there. And yeah. So it took a bunch of little mods and some elbow grease to get this thing to perform like it's supposed to perform and work the way it's supposed to work. But overall, now after doing all that, I do very much enjoy this gun, and with this scope that I have on it, which is just some cheap scope, and I honestly couldn't tell you where I got it. It says GunTech USA. I looked it up later on, and they don't even like have this scope, so I don't know really what the heck this came from or where it came from. But as far as for a 22 out to 100 yards, it is dead on accurate, and so I enjoy it. It is an illuminated scope. I think it does both red and green. Yeah, illuminations. And so as you can see, it's a 4x32, so it's a decent little scope. It adjusts, and yeah, I enjoy it. But overall, the gun out of the box was a BFPS, and took a little bit of elbow grease, but for what I paid for it, I'm not upset. Like, now anyway, if I couldn't get that front sight post fixed on my own, I would have probably been even more mad, especially having to mail it off and get it back and things like that. But I think I paid just under $200 for this gun, brand new at Sportsman's Warehouse. So for being sub 200, not a bad rifle at all whatsoever. But that was just my experience with this gun out of the box. I mean, this is disappointing because it was a pretty decently good looking little emblem for Ruger that they had placed in here. So I'm sad that I lost that. And then as far as that front sight post, like that should never happen, where that literally just fell right out of the gun. And like I can't tell you, you know, I didn't take it out of the box and sit there and mess with this at all when I got it. You know, I expected this to just be fine. I didn't play with it at all, but somewhere in shooting, I noticed it was being inaccurate, and then kind of just walking around, I heard it fall off the gun. And then when I went to put it back on, I mean, it was just slide all the way through on either way. And so, yeah, that was very disappointing, to say the least. But overall, now that I've kind of reworked the gun myself, and, you know, I would say that it's probably one of my favorite 1022s to shoot. I do have another 1022 that I'll review later, but this one is just a whole lot of fun now. Out of the box, I honestly couldn't recommend it to anyone else. If the quality control for every one of these rifles is the same, I would say, you know what, spend the few bucks more and get just a standard version, I guess, because this collector series, yeah, that was a disappointment right there. But yeah, that's just my opinion of this. I'll take it out shooting and get some video footage of that at some point. I've got to do a couple shooting reviews, so I'll probably take a couple rifles out and get some, you know, camera time going with each individual one. But yeah, that's just my review of this gun for right now, and we'll update again later.